Picture yourself pausing in the middle of a hectic day, your phone buzzing, your to-do list growing, and your mind racing to keep up. Amid this whirlwind, you catch a glimpse of sunlight filtering through a window, or you hear the soft patter of rain outside, and for a fleeting moment, you feel a pull towards something calmer, something grounded. This is the call of nature, a reminder of a rhythm that exists beyond the chaos of modern life. What if you could answer that call, not by escaping your responsibilities, but by weaving the wisdom of the natural world into your everyday choices? What if you could live with a sense of harmony that brings peace to your mind, clarity to your days, and meaning to your life? This is the gift of Japanese aesthetics and philosophy, particularly the practice of living in harmony with nature. Through concepts like wabi-sabi, shinrin-yoku, mottainai, and others, you can create a simpler, more intentional, and deeply fulfilling life, even in the midst of today's overwhelming demands. Let's embark on this journey together, exploring how these ancient principles can guide you toward a life that feels balanced, connected, and true to who you are. You know the weight of modern life all too well. Your days are filled with endless tasks. Your home might be crowded with possessions you've accumulated over time, and your mind is often clouded with stress about work, finances, relationships, or simply keeping up with the world's relentless pace. There's a quiet ache, a sense of disconnection that creeps in, as if you're drifting further from what truly matters: your well-being, your sense of purpose, your place in the world. Nature, with its patient cycles of growth, rest, and renewal, feels like a distant memory, something you only touch briefly during a weekend hike or a rare moment of stillness. This disconnection can leave you feeling unmoored, searching for meaning in a culture that glorifies excess, speed, and perfection. But there's a different way, one rooted in Japanese philosophy, that invites you to reconnect with nature's wisdom. This isn't about retreating from the world or abandoning your responsibilities. It's about transforming how you move through your days, with mindfulness, respect, and balance as your guides, creating a life that feels like a deep, nourishing breath. At the heart of this philosophy is wabi-sabi, a worldview that finds beauty in the imperfect, the transient, and the natural. Wabi-sabi is not about striving for flawless symmetry or chasing an idealized version of yourself or your life. It's about appreciating the chipped mug you've used for years, the weathered wooden table that tells a story, or the fleeting bloom of a cherry blossom that falls after a single week. In a world that pressures you to pursue perfection, perfect homes, perfect careers, perfect appearances, wabi-sabi offers a gentle release from that burden. It invites you to embrace what's real, raw, and beautifully imperfect, to see beauty in simplicity and transience. Imagine what this could mean for you. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a cluttered home, you might choose to surround yourself only with objects that carry meaning, letting go of the rest with gratitude. Instead of chasing an unattainable ideal of productivity, you might find peace in moments of quiet, accepting that life, like nature, moves through seasons of growth, rest, and renewal. Wabi-sabi teaches you to honor the impermanence of all things, to find joy in the present moment, even when it's messy, incomplete, or flawed. Let's explore how wabi-sabi can reshape your perspective. Consider your daily routine. You might rush through mornings, striving to check off every task, only to feel exhausted by noon. Wabi-sabi invites you to slow down, to savor the small, imperfect moments. A cup of tea sipped slowly, the sound of birds outside your window, the feel of your favorite sweater against your skin. These moments, though fleeting, are where life's beauty lies. Or think about your home. You might feel pressured to keep it spotless or stylish, comparing it to images on social media. Wabi-sabi encourages you to let go of that comparison, to create a space that feels authentic to you, even if it's not picture perfect. A scratched table, a slightly wilted bouquet, a quilt with frayed edges. These are not flaws, but stories, reminders of life's richness. By embracing wabi-sabi, you begin to see your life as a living, breathing work of art. One that doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. Another powerful practice is shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, which is less about physically immersing yourself in a forest and more about cultivating a mindful connection to the natural world, wherever you are. Developed in Japan in the 1980s as a response to urban stress, shinrin-yoku encourages you to engage your senses fully. Listening to the rustle of leaves, feeling the texture of bark, noticing the play of light through branches. Research shows that even brief moments of mindful connection with nature can lower cortisol levels, boost mood, and improve focus. For you, this might mean stepping outside during a lunch break to feel the breeze on your skin, tending to a small plant on your windowsill with care, or simply closing your eyes and imagining the sound of a flowing stream. Shinrin-yoku is about presence, about rooting yourself in the moment and recognizing that you are part of a larger living world. It's a reminder that nature's wisdom, its patience, its resilience, its balance, can be a guide for your own life. Let's make this tangible. If you live in a city, you might think shinrin-yoku is out of reach. But nature is everywhere, even in urban spaces. Notice the weeds pushing through cracks in the sidewalk, the way the wind moves through a tree in a park, or the rhythm of your own breath, which is itself a reflection of nature's cycles. You might start by dedicating 5 minutes each day to this practice. Step outside, leave your phone behind, and focus on one sense at a time. What do you hear? What do you see? How does the air feel? If you're indoors, bring nature closer. A small pot of herbs, a pebble smoothed by a river, a bowl of water that reflects the light. These small acts of connection ground you, reminding you that you are not separate from the earth, but part of its vast, beautiful web. Over time, shinrin-yoku becomes a habit, a quiet anchor that brings clarity and calm to even the busiest days. Mottainai, another cornerstone of this philosophy, carries a profound message of respect and gratitude for the resources around you. Often translated as, "what a waste," mottainai is a call to avoid squandering anything, whether it's food, time, materials, or even opportunities. Rooted in Buddhist and Shinto principles, it reflects a deep appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things, a recognition that every resource is part of nature's cycle. In a world driven by consumerism, where it's easy to buy more than you need or discard things without thought, Mottainai challenges you to pause and ask, do I truly value this? How can I use it with care? This might look like repairing a torn sweater instead of replacing it, savoring every bite of a meal, or finding creative ways to repurpose items in your home. Mottainai isn't about deprivation. It's about abundance through mindfulness, about finding richness in using what you have with intention and respect. To bring mottainai into your life, start with one area where waste creeps in. Perhaps it's your kitchen. Before you shop, take stock of what you have. Planning meals to use every ingredient fully. Turn vegetable scraps into broth. Freeze leftovers for another day. Or share extra food with a neighbor. Or consider your wardrobe. The next time a button falls off or a seam splits, try mending it yourself, even if the stitches aren't perfect. These acts of care deepen your connection to the world, reminding you that everything, every scrap, every moment has value. Mottainai also extends to intangible resources like time. How often do you rush through your day, feeling like there's never enough? Mottainai invites you to treat time with the same respect, to prioritize what truly matters and let go of distractions that don't serve you. This shift creates space for joy, connection, and growth. Let's contrast this approach with the habits that often dominate modern life. Picture the cycle of mindless consumption, buying things to fill a void, only to feel burdened by clutter later. Or the rush to fill every moment with productivity, leaving no space for rest or reflection. Or the habit of discarding things, food, clothes, time, without considering their value. These patterns promise happiness, but often deliver stress, guilt, and a nagging sense of emptiness. Now, imagine the alternative. A home filled only with items you love, each chosen with care. A day with moments of stillness that recharge you, allowing you to be fully present. A life where your choices honor the earth, reducing waste and fostering gratitude. This is the difference between living reactively and living intentionally, between being swept along by external demands and choosing a path that aligns with your deepest values. So, how do you begin? The beauty of these Japanese principles is that they don't require grand gestures or drastic changes. They invite you to start small, to make mindful choices that ripple outward over time. Let's walk through some practical steps to bring harmony with nature into your daily life, starting with wabi-sabi. Begin by choosing one area of your home, a drawer, a shelf, a corner, and ask yourself, what here feels essential? What brings me joy or serves a purpose? Let go of items that no longer resonate, not with guilt, but with gratitude for their role in your life. As you declutter, notice the imperfections, the scratches on your table, the faded color of a favorite mug, and let them remind you that beauty lies in what's real. This process isn't about creating a sterile, minimalist space, but about curating a home that feels like an extension of you, a place where you can breathe. For example, you might come across an old notebook filled with half-finished ideas. Instead of tossing it, wabi-sabi encourages you to see its value. Perhaps it's a record of your growth, a reminder of dreams you can revisit. Keep it or pass it on to someone who might find inspiration in its pages. As you practice this, you'll notice your home becoming a sanctuary, a space that reflects your values rather than society's expectations. You might also apply wabi-sabi to your self-image. The next time you catch yourself criticizing your appearance or your achievements, pause and consider, what makes me unique? What imperfections tell my story? Embracing these truths frees you from the pressure to be perfect, allowing you to live with authenticity and ease. Next, incorporate shinrin-yoku into your routine, even if you're far from a forest. Set aside 5 minutes each day to connect with nature. Step outside and focus on your senses, the feel of the air, the sound of birds, the sight of clouds moving across the sky. If you're indoors, tend to a plant or open a window to let in fresh air. You might keep a small journal to jot down what you notice, how the light shifts, how your body feels. This practice trains your mind to slow down, to find wonder in the ordinary. For instance, you might notice how the leaves of your houseplant curl slightly, or how the morning air carries a hint of dew. These observations, though small, anchor you in the present, reminding you that nature is always speaking, if only you listen. Over time, you'll carry this awareness with you, finding moments of peace even in a crowded subway or a busy office. For mottainai, focus on one resource you often overlook. If it's food, take a moment before cooking to appreciate the ingredients, the journey they took to reach you, the hands that grew them. Plan meals to use what you have, finding creative ways to transform leftovers into something new, like turning stale bread into croutons or blending overripe fruit into a smoothie. If it's your belongings, pause before replacing something that breaks, a shirt, a chair. Can it be mended? Can it serve a new purpose? You might repurpose an old jar as a vase, or use fabric scraps to make a patchwork scarf. These small acts of care deepen your connection to the world, reminding you that everything is part of a larger cycle. They also save money and reduce waste, aligning your choices with sustainability and gratitude. Of course, change isn't always easy. You might face challenges, like the temptation to buy something new to fix a problem, or the discomfort of letting go of items tied to memories. When these moments arise, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what am I truly seeking? Is it comfort, security, connection? Often the answers lie not in acquiring more, but in rediscovering what you already have. If decluttering feels overwhelming, set a timer for 10 minutes and tackle one small area. If mindfulness feels foreign, start with a single breath, noticing how it feels to inhale and exhale. These practices are like planting seeds. They take time to grow, but with consistency, they transform your perspective. Let me share a story to illustrate how these principles can come to life. A friend of mine, Sarah, was drowning in the demands of her corporate job and a home filled with things she'd accumulated over years. She felt stuck, disconnected from herself and the world. One day, inspired by wabi-sabi, she decided to clear out her living room, keeping only what felt meaningful: a few books, a plant, a quilt her grandmother made. The process was emotional, as some items held memories of her past. But as she let go, she felt lighter, as if she were shedding layers of expectation. She started practicing shinrin-yoku, taking short walks in a nearby park during her lunch breaks, noticing the way the trees swayed or the ground felt beneath her feet. She also embraced mottainai, repairing clothes and using scraps to make new creations, like a tote bag from old jeans. Over months, her life shifted. Her home became a sanctuary, her mind felt clearer, and she found joy in small, imperfect moments, like a quiet evening with a cup of tea, watching the sunset. Sarah's story isn't unique. It's a reminder that these principles, applied with intention, can transform your life too. Let's deepen this with another example. Imagine a young professional, Alex, who feels trapped in a cycle of overwork and overspending. His apartment is cluttered with gadgets and clothes he bought to keep up with trends, but he feels no closer to happiness. Inspired by mottainai, Alex starts small, committing to use every item in his fridge before buying more groceries. He discovers a love for cooking, turning odds and ends into creative meals. This sparks a shift. He begins repairing his worn shoes instead of replacing them, and he donates clothes he no longer wears, feeling a sense of freedom with each item he releases. Alex also tries shinrin-yoku, spending his weekends walking by a nearby river, noticing how the water's flow calms his racing thoughts. Wabi-sabi helps him accept his small, cluttered apartment, finding beauty in its quirks. The creaky floorboards, the mismatched furniture. Over time, Alex feels more grounded, his spending decreases, and he finds joy in simple pleasures, like reading by an open window. His story shows how these principles can create a life of abundance, not through accumulation, but through appreciation. As you weave these practices into your days, you'll notice their benefits ripple across every aspect of your life. Physically, your home will feel more spacious, a reflection of your priorities. Mentally, you'll gain clarity as mindfulness and gratitude replace the noise of stress. Emotionally, you'll feel more connected to yourself, to others, to the earth. Financially, you'll save money by consuming less and valuing what you have. Environmentally, your choices will reduce waste, aligning with the planet's needs. Spiritually, you'll find a sense of purpose, a quiet confidence that comes from living in harmony with the world. This is the essence of intentional living. A life where every choice reflects what matters most to you. Let's tie this to another Japanese concept, kaizen, which emphasizes continuous, small improvements. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Instead, focus on one small change today. Perhaps a moment of mindfulness, a single item decluttered, a resource used with care. Tomorrow, add another. Over time, these small steps build a life that feels aligned with nature's wisdom, a life of balance and meaning. Kaizen reminds you that progress is a journey, not a race, and every step forward counts. You might also draw inspiration from Ikigai, the concept of finding your purpose. As you live in harmony with nature, you may discover that your purpose lies in the small, meaningful acts, caring for your home, nurturing relationships, stewarding the earth, that bring you joy and serve the world. To deepen your practice, consider creating rituals that anchor you in these principles. For wabi-sabi, you might start each morning by choosing one imperfect object in your home, a cracked bowl, a faded photo, and reflecting on its story. For shinrin-yoku, you could end your day with a sensory walk, even if it's just around your block, noticing 3 things you see, hear, and feel. For mottainai, try a weekly resource audit, checking your fridge, closet, or schedule to see where you can use what you have more fully. These rituals don't need to be time-consuming. They're about consistency, about weaving mindfulness into the fabric of your life. You might also share these practices with others, a friend, a partner, a child, creating moments of connection that amplify their impact. What if you stumble along the way? That's part of the journey. Wabi-sabi reminds you that imperfection is not failure, but a natural part of growth. If you buy something impulsively, miss a day of mindfulness, or struggle to let go, treat yourself with kindness. Reflect on what happened, learn from it, and take the next step. Kaizen teaches you that every moment is a chance to begin again. You might also seek inspiration from nature itself. A tree doesn't grow perfectly straight. It bends with the wind, adapts to the soil, and thrives in its own way. You too can adapt, finding your own path to harmony. As we draw to a close, I invite you to reflect on what harmony with nature means to you. What's one small way you can bring this wisdom into your life today? Maybe it's pausing to notice the beauty in something imperfect, taking a moment to connect with the world outside, or choosing to use what you have with gratitude. These acts, however small, are powerful. They're a declaration that you're ready to live differently, to let go of excess, to embrace simplicity, to find joy in the present. You don't need a perfect life or a perfect world to start. You just need the courage to take one step, then another, trusting that the path will unfold. You are part of this world, just as the trees, the rivers, and the stars are. Your life can reflect that connection, not through grand gestures, but through the quiet, intentional choices you make each day. Let wabi-sabi remind you to cherish the imperfect. Let shinrin-yoku ground you in the present. Let mottainai guide you to live with gratitude and care. Let Kaizen inspire you to keep growing, one small step at a time. Together, these principles offer a way to navigate the chaos of modern life with grace, to create a life that feels like home, not just for you, but for the world you're part of. So take a deep breath, feel the earth beneath you, and begin. The journey to harmony is yours to walk, and every step is a chance to come alive, to come alive, to come alive, to come alive.